Hello, welcome to JJK Yoga. I'd like to start in a lying down position. So come to lie on your mat. Ideally, I'd like you to bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees splay out. If you find this position uncomfortable, you can just keep your feet on the mat. Keep your knees bent, just walk your feet to the outer edges of your mat and then draw your knees in together. So just find an option that's suitable for you and then just take a moment here to arrive to your mat. If you have blocks, you can place one block under each thigh so that your thighs can just gently rest on the support. You can also use cushions if you prefer. And then just have your arms down by your side, palms facing up. Make sure you're nice and comfortable here. We'll be here for a good few minutes. And then slowly start to close your eyes. And start to bring your gaze inward. Take a moment here to just scan your body. Notice if you're holding on to any tension anywhere. Maybe just make a note of how you're feeling both mentally and physically. Now start to turn your gaze towards your breath. Just take a moment here to observe your natural breath. So don't change it. Notice whether you breathe in through your mouth or your nose. Whether you're breathing into your belly or your chest. And then we're going to slowly start to move towards our Ujjayi breath. That's the yogic breath. This involves closing your mouth and breathing in and out through your nose. As you breathe in and out through your nose, you create a slight restriction to the back of the throat. And this creates an audible breath. It should sound like an ocean wave rolling in and out. As you inhale, you fill the torso up with as much breath as you can so that you allow the belly, the ribs and the chest to expand. And then as you exhale, you slowly start to lift your pelvic floor and draw your navel down towards your spine. On your next inhale, I want you to draw the breath from the lower part of your spine all the way up to the top of your spine, really allowing your chest to expand. And then as you exhale, lift that pelvic floor, draw the navel to the spine, and just feel yourself melting into the mat. On your next inhale, think about drawing the breath in through the sides of the body, just allowing the ribs to expand. And again, as you draw the breath out of the body, think about drawing everything into the spine as you slowly start to lift that pelvic floor, and again squeeze that navel towards the spine. Just continue with this breath. Start to count the length of your inhale, the length of your exhale. So we're working towards an equal breath. So if your breath lengths are different, find a point in the middle where you can start to equalize your breath. And then continue to count the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale. Now start to become aware of the pauses at the top of your inhale and the bottom of your exhale. I want you to start to hold these pauses between your breaths. So hold it for a time that is comfortable for you. Continue to count the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale, just to make sure that the breath lengths are still the same. Try to make the pauses between the breaths the same length as well. Now start to see if you can increase the length of your inhale and your exhale. Maybe you can start to increase the pauses at the top of your inhale and the bottom of your exhale. Just really keeping your mind on your breath and allowing yourself to become clear of all other thoughts. Using the breath to warm up the body in preparation for today's class. Just a few more breaths here now. So for your last few breaths, maybe just draw the breath into any areas that feel tight. Just using your breath to maybe soften some of that tightness. After your next full breath, I want you to slowly open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room. If you have your knees splayed out to the sides, just place your hands underneath your thighs and draw your knees back up. I want everyone to bend your knees. Bring your heels so they're underneath your knees, and your knees and your feet are hip distance apart. Then slowly draw your right knee into your chest. Take an inhale. As you exhale, start to draw that knee to the right armpit. Really squeezing that knee to the chest. Continue to breathe in and out of your nose. On your next inhale, you're going to lengthen your leg up towards the ceiling. Place your hands behind your right thigh. So you can keep it behind your thigh, or maybe you can just slide it up your leg. Just make sure that right hip is still connected to the mat. Flex the foot so the heel reaches up to the ceiling, toes down to your face. And try to keep the shoulders pressing down into the mat. Remember, if you have a tight hamstring, you can have a bend in your knee. And then just breathe into the back of that right hamstring. Now slowly bend that knee and place that foot on the top of your left thigh. Now we're going to keep the left foot on the mat to begin with, and you're going to use your right hand and gently press the inner thigh, the right inner thigh, just draw that leg away. Try to keep that right foot flexed. So you want to find that first point of resistance and just breathe into it. Now you can stay here, or you can slowly raise your left foot off the mat. Wrap your hands around your left thigh, and as you draw that left thigh in towards you, use your right arm to draw that right leg away. Again, once you find that first point of resistance, just hold it. Try to keep the hips, the lower back connected to the mat. Now slowly lower the left foot if you've got it raised. Keep the right foot where it is, and you're just going to drop the left knee over to the left so that the right foot comes onto the mat. And again, you're going to use your left hand now to draw that right thigh, inner thigh away, and just hold it here. Again, once you find that juicy spot, just breathe into it. Now you're going to use your left hand to slowly guide that right knee down towards the mat. And then just maybe gaze over your right shoulder. Try to keep that right shoulder joined down towards the mat. So just a gentle supine twist. And then slowly bring yourself all the way back up. This time we're going to come into a single-legged happy baby pose. So you can either grab the back of your leg, the inside of your foot, index and middle finger around your big toe, or just the outside of the foot. Left leg, because the knee can stay bent, or you can slowly extend that leg, pressing the heel into the mat. And then just use your hand to slowly guide that right knee down towards the mat. Just drawing onto the outside of your chest. And then breathe. Keep that left leg active. Heel pressing down into the mat, toes reaching up. Now you can stay here, or maybe you can start to extend the right leg out to the side. Try to keep that right shoulder on the mat and that left hip on the mat. And then slowly bring that leg back. Place that foot onto the mat, bend the left knee if you've extended the leg, and then draw that left knee into the chest. And then just draw it over to the left armpit. Take an inhale as you exhale, keep squeezing that knee to the chest. On your next inhale, extend that leg up to the ceiling. Again, wrap your hands around that left thigh, or you can just slowly slide the hands further up the leg. Try to keep your shoulders drawing down towards the mat. Okay, keep that foot flexed. Keep that lower back connected to the mat. Now slowly bend that knee and place the outside of that foot onto the right thigh. And we're just going to keep that right foot on the mat as we use our left hand to draw that left inner thigh away. Now you can stay here, or you can reach your right foot off the mat, wrap your hands around your right thigh, and as you draw that right leg in towards you, use your left arm to draw that right leg away. As you draw that right thigh towards you, use that left arm to draw that left leg away. So keep that left foot flexed. Again, once you find that juicy spot, just hold it there. Just make sure you've still got a nice smooth breath. Still breathing in and out of your nose. Try not to hold your breath. Now slowly place the right foot down if you've raised it. Keep your left foot where it is and just slowly lower that right knee down towards the mat. Keep your left shoulder on the mat and just use your right hand to draw that inner thigh away and hold it here. And then you're going to slowly use your hand to now draw that left knee down towards the mat. And you can maybe gaze over your left shoulder now. And then slowly start to make your way all the way back. So we're going to come into that single-legged happy baby pose. So just bring your hand to the same position, either behind your leg, the inside of the foot, around the big toe, or on the outside of the foot. And you're just guiding that knee to the outside of your chest, sole of the foot parallel to the ceiling. And the right knee can stay bent, or you can slide that heel down the mat, extending that leg. Just make sure that leg's active. And just keep breathing. Again, find that first point of resistance. And you can stay here, or you can start to extend that leg out to the left. But again, try to keep that right shoulder on the mat, that right hip on the mat. And then slowly bring that leg back. Bend both knees. Just hug them into the chest. So we're going to be doing a lot of leg work today, working into the groin, the hips, the hamstrings. So I want you to slowly roll over to one side now and start to make your way to a tabletop position. So bring your wrists directly under your shoulders and knees under your hips. And as you inhale, you're going to draw your tailbone back and chest forward. Exhale, slowly round your spine up towards the ceiling, chin towards your chest. Inhale, tailbone back, chest forward. Try to keep those shoulders drawing down towards the knees. Gaze is forward. Exhale, round towards the ceiling. Really round through your shoulders as well. Last one. Inhale, chest forward, tailbone back. And exhale, really rounding through your spine. Lovely. Now come to a neutral spine, and I want you to bring your right leg out to the side. So you want to bring your right heel in line with your right knee, toes pointing forward. And then from there, keep your left wrist under your left shoulder, and you're just going to open your right arm out. So a gentle twist here. And then slowly return the hand back down to the mat. Bring the knee back down. And then you're going to bring your left leg out to the side. Again, bring that heel in line with the knee. Make sure your right hand is underneath your shoulder. And then extend your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then slowly come back down. Lovely. Now bring your big toes to touch and your knees hip distance, or maybe slightly wider. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, you're just going to walk your hands all the way forward as you bring your forehead down towards the mat. So you want to try to keep those sit bones pressing into your heels. If your head doesn't reach the mat, just use a block or cushion to raise the floor up. And just stay here as you inhale. See if you can creep your fingertips a little bit more forward. And as you exhale, see if you can draw those hips a little bit further back. Really extending the spine here, the size of the spine. Try to relax the shoulders away from your ears. And then slowly raise your head an inch off the mat. And walk your hands over to the to the left. Keep that right sit bone drawing down towards that right heel. And then bring your right palm over your left hand. So you're really extending the right side of the body. And then bring your forehead to the mat if you can. Try to drop that right shoulder. Inhale your hands back to center. Exhale, walk your hands over to the right. This time bringing your left hand over your right hand, drawing that left hip back. Again, drop that left shoulder and just extend the left side of the body. And then just bring your hands to center. And we're going to slowly bring ourselves back into tabletop. So I'm just going to turn to face you now. So from tabletop, I want you to bring your right leg out to the side again, but this time you're going to draw your toes towards the side wall and then slowly come to an upright position. So we're going to come into a gate pose today. Okay, if it's really uncomfortable for your knee, you can just cushion it with a blanket or maybe roll up your mat. Toes are pressing, feet is on the mat, so toes are drawing down. Lovely. And then from here, you can just slide your right hand down your leg. As you inhale, reach your left arm over. So really extending the left side. And then on your next inhale, you're going to bring your left hand down towards the mat as you bring your right arm up and over. I'm going to do this a couple more times. Inhale. Really reach the left hand over. Try to keep the chest nice and open. And then let's do the other side. So you're not going to drop that shoulder. Keep the chest nice and open. Gaze cannot be up to the ceiling, can be to a side wall, or can be down towards the mat. And then slowly come back up. And we're just going to hold it here. Really extending the left side of the body. Again, working on the inside of that right leg. And then we're going to slowly come back to the other side. This time working the right side of the body. So you can stay here, or making sure your left wrist is directly under your left shoulder. You can start to lift your right foot off the mat, bend your knee, and use your right hand to grab your right foot. And then you're just going to draw that right knee back. Try to keep that right knee in line with your hip. Just work in the front of that quad. And try to draw that right shoulder back. Make sure you're still breathing. Don't hold that breath. And then we're going to slowly start to make our way back out. Come back to your tabletop and bring that right leg back. Lovely. Let's extend that left foot out. So again, the left heel in line with the toe, in line with your knee, toes pointing to the side wall. So again, we're going to slide that left hand down our leg, and as you inhale, reach the right arm up and over. Really extending that right side. Inhale, and let's switch sides. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then back to the other side. So again, remember to keep that shoulder nice and open. And then let's do that one more time. We're going to hold it here. Really feeling the stretch along the right side of the body. Maybe feeling it along the inside of our leg. And then let's come back over and hold it here. Really reaching left fingertips away. So remember, you can stay here, or making sure that right wrist is directly under your right shoulder. You're going to raise your left foot. And again, bend that knee, bring the foot behind you. Take the foot with your left arm, and then left hand, and then draw that left knee back. Try to draw that shoulder back, just extending the front side of that body, particularly the left quad. And then slowly bring yourself back. And let's return back to our tabletop. Just going to bring myself back to the centre of the mat. And then we're just going to step our right foot forward now. Draw the left leg back. Make sure your right knee is stacked above your right heel. And you can draw that left leg back as far as it can go, so that you get that stretch at the front of the left thigh. And just hold it here. Continue to breathe. Make sure your right knee is also tracking over your right toes. So once you find that juicy spot, just breathe into it. You might be feeling it at the front of your left leg and hip, or maybe you're feeling it on the outside or inside of your right leg. So wherever you're feeling it, just hold and breathe. Now we're going to slowly draw our hips back, extending our front leg. Keep the toes down onto the mat, so just keep that foot extended. Take an inhale as you exhale. You're just drawing your torso onto the inside of that right leg. Try to soften your shoulders. You might find your shoulders want to creep up towards your ears. Now from here, just lift your toes up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. And then place the foot back on the mat. Bring yourself forwards. Again, check the heel is directly underneath the knee. And then we're going to walk that foot about 1 inch to the right and then bring your hands onto the inside of that foot. So you can just plant your hands down, connecting that right leg to the right arm. Or you can come down to your elbows. If you have blocks and you're not quite all the way down, you can place blocks underneath your elbows. If you are down, continue to draw the leg in towards your arms, and the gaze is just towards your hands here. Again, try to soften the shoulders, soften the neck. Now slowly start to make your way back up. Bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder, and you're going to walk that right foot 1 inch to the right. Then keep the right heel where it is and turn your right toes out. And then come onto the outside of that right foot. Use your left hand to open up that left hip. So, your right hand to open up that right leg. So you just place it on the inside of that thigh. Lovely. And you can turn your torso over your leg here. Maybe come onto your fingertips. Keep breathing. Now slowly bring that big toe back onto the mat, but keep the foot where it is. Walk your left hand forwards and drop the left hip. You can use your right hand to hug that right leg in towards your chest. Make sure there's no pain in your shoulder or your arm or elbow. So just bend that elbow if you need to. And just drop that left hip all the way down to the mat. So really stretching again the front area of that left hip. Make sure the right big toe is still on the mat. And then slowly bring yourself back up. Walk that foot back into the center. Place your hands either side of the foot. And you're just going to step back into a downward dog. Maybe just pedal out your feet here. And then drop your knees back onto the mat. Bring your left foot forward. And then draw that right leg all the way back. So draw it as far back as you can, but just make sure that left knee is still over that left heel, toes pointing forward. Again, check the left knee is tracking over the toes as well. And we're just going to hold it here. Just maybe notice the difference between your left and your right side. Now slowly draw your hips all the way back. Make sure that foot is still extended, so you're really stretching the front of the leg. Take an inhale as you exhale. You're just going to draw your torso onto the inside of that left leg. Remember, if you have really tight hamstrings, you can always have a slight bend in the knee. Now extend the toes up towards the ceiling, heel pressing down. Try to soften the shoulders again. And then bring yourself all the way forwards. Lovely. So again, just check that knee and heel alignment.
And then walk your left foot an inch to the left and bring your hands onto the inside of that left foot. So try to come to the same place you went to the other side, if you can. One side might be completely different to the other. Come down to your elbows, if that's available to you, or come onto blocks. And then keep the gaze towards the hands. Make sure that left leg is drawn in towards the left arm, and just hold it here. Lovely. Now slowly start to make your way back up. Again, bring your right hand under your right shoulder. Walk your left foot an inch to the left. Keep your left heel where it is and turn your left toes out, and then come onto the outside of that foot again. Again, just opening up that left hip, placing your hand onto the inner thigh, just gently opening up that hip, turning your torso over the leg. And then slowly place that big toe back onto the mat. And this time, move your right hand and draw that right hip down towards the mat. Use your left hand to hug that left knee in. Just extending the right side, front side of that body. And then slowly come all the way back. Walk that foot all the way back in. Hands either side of your foot. Tuck your back toes and come back into your downward dog. And then just pedal out your feet. Now from here, we're going to gaze between our hands, and you're going to bring your right knee behind your right wrist and your right foot behind your left wrist. We're making our way into pigeon. So tuck that left hip under, and then walk your hands either side of your hips. Extend your spine nice and long, and then take an inhale. As you exhale, draw your torso over your front leg. Once you're down, just keep drawing that right hip back and that left hip under. So remember, if your right hip is really tight, you can always place a cushion or a block underneath to help provide support. If your forehead doesn't reach the mat, again, you can place maybe a block or cushion under your forehead. I'm just going to hold it here for about a minute. Just return back to your breath. Try to soften the upper body here. Again, once you find that juicy spot, just breathe into it. Now you can stay in this position, or you can slowly walk your hands up. Turn your torso over your right knee. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, just draw your torso over your right leg. Again, trying to draw your forehead all the way down towards the mat. And then just return back to your breath. Really breathing. Now if you're over your leg, into maybe the IT bands, the outside of your leg. after your next full breath, slowly start to make your way all the way back up. Bring yourself all the way back into your downward dog. Maybe just pedal out your feet here. Just notice the difference between your right and your left side. And again, gaze between your hands. Just bring your left knee behind your left wrist and your left foot behind your right wrist. Tuck in that right hip under now. Drawing that leg all the way back. Walk your hands either side of your hips. Extend your spine. As you inhale. And as you exhale, slowly just bring yourself all the way down to the mat. Extending your arms forward. So again, you can use cushions or blocks as you need them. And then when you're down, keep drawing that left hip back, the right hip under. And just return back to your breath. Allow everything to soften. Just find that juicy spot and breathe into it. Maybe take a moment here to notice the difference between your left and right. Now you can stay here or slowly bring yourself all the way back up. Turn your torso over your left knee. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, just draw your torso over your left leg. Again, just lowering your forehead all the way down to the mat. Again, finding that first point of resistance and just breathing into it. Again, try to soften those shoulders. One more breath here. And then slowly make your way back up. Coming back to your downward dog position. Tuck your toes and just pedal out your feet. And then you're just going to walk your feet in. So walk your feet in so you can get your foot all the way, both heels all the way down to the mat. And then you're going to turn to the outside edge of your mat so that you can now start to walk your feet wider. So keeping your hands on the floor if you can, walk your feet out as wide as you can. And then eventually you want to have your heels drawing out and toes drawing in. Okay, keeping your hips in line with your heels. You're going to slowly bring your right hand underneath your face and lift your left arm up and over. So we're in a wide leg twist. Make sure you're pressing into the outer edges of your feet. Your legs should be feeling quite nice and open now. Now slowly lower your left hand down. Place your left hand where your right hand is. Press the palm down. And as you inhale, reach that right arm up and over. So you almost want your torso parallel to the mat. Again, hips in line with your heel. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Gaze doesn't have to be to the top hand. It could just be to the side wall or down towards your left hand. And then slowly lower that hand down. And see if you can walk your hands in between your feet. And then just let yourself hang heavy here. So if your head is on the mat, just decrease the distance between your feet. So you're really working the legs here, really pressing to the outer edges of your feet. And then again, just try to soften your head and your shoulders. Now from here, slowly walk your hands forward again. And then heel toe your feet in. So you almost want to bring your heels maybe a little bit wider than your hips, and then your toes are going to point out. Bend your knees and make your way to Malasana. Lovely. Use your arms to draw your knees out. So you want your knees tracking over your toes, and just have your hands in prayer here. Just hold it here for a moment, maybe sway from side to side. And then slowly lower your hands either in front or behind you. And let's come to a wide leg seated position. So in your wide leg seated position, you want to pull the flesh out from underneath your sit bones. So your pelvis is tilting forward. And then just internally rotate your thighs so your legs are nice and active. Lovely. And then just make sure your knees are drawing up and your toes are pointing up. So really press your heels down into the mat. So you want nice active legs. Lovely. Now from here, you're going to bring your right hand either onto the inside of your leg or maybe drop down to your forearm and then reach your left arm up and over. Really extending the left side of the body. So try to keep that chest nice and open. Don't let the shoulder roll forwards. Make sure your left sit bone is still rooted down into the mat. And then slowly come back up. Turn your torso over your right leg. Again, soften your shoulders. And then walk your hands either side of your right leg. Make sure both feet are still, heels are pressing down, toes are reaching up. So both legs are active. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to slowly lower your chest over your right leg. So try not to round your back here. Try not to let your head drop down. So keep your gaze forward, neck in line with your spine, and just let your chest draw over your leg. And then just hold it here. If you've got really tight hamstrings, just have a slight bend in your knee. And then just breathe. Again, just making sure that your sit bones are equally pressing into your mat. And then slowly come back up. Turn your, place your left hand onto the inside of your left leg, or again, come down to your forearm, and this time reach your right arm up and over. Again, really extending the right side of your body. Again, lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Don't allow that shoulder to fall in. Hold it here. And then slowly come up. Turn your gaze over your left leg. Take an inhale, and again as you exhale, you're going to slowly walk your hands either side of that leg and just draw your chest all the way down over that leg. So again, try not to drop your forehead. So you want a nice straight spine. Again, check you're pressing equally between both sit bones. So maybe on each exhale, you can find yourself coming a little bit closer towards your leg. And again, if you have a tight hamstring, just have a slight bend in the knee. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Now bring your hands behind you. Just again, see if you can pull the flesh up from underneath your sit bones. So bring the hands behind you, fingertips point back. And lift that chest, really extend. So you really want to extend that spine here. Now if you tend to have a rounded back, particularly your lower back, and I want you to just stay here and work on really extending your spine to an upright position. If your pelvis tends to tilt forward and you can keep a nice straight spine, bring your hands forward, drop your shoulders, take an inhale, and as you exhale, you can slowly lower your chest down towards the mat. But keep that spine not nice and long. Try not to compromise that length in your spine for the pose. Come to the position that's right for you. If you have really tight hamstrings, you're probably going to find you'll have that natural curve at the lower part of your spine. Keep breathing. So wherever you're feeling that tightness, just draw the breath into that area. You might just find after a few breaths, it starts to soften and ease. And then you can just come down a little bit more. And then slowly bring yourself all the way back up. Bring your legs together. And we're going to slowly bend our knees. So you're going to bend your left knee first and bring your left heel outside your right hip. and root that right sit bone back down to the mat, and then bring your your right knee over your left knee. Bring your right heel to the outside of your left hip. Now, if you have really tender knees here, you can just place that foot on the mat and just work here. But if you can come into this position, you're trying to aim for stacking the knees one above the other, toes reaching back. Lovely. Now from here, bring your arms out nice and wide. Take an inhale. As you exhale, slowly bring your right arm under your left. So first option is just to grab the backs of your shoulders and lift your elbows. You can just work on this position, or maybe you can bring the backs of the arms together, or maybe interlace your arms and bring your palms together. If you've got your arms touching, you can just bring the arms forward. So whichever one of those positions you're in, you want to try to bring the elbows in line with the shoulders. And then slowly you're going to bring yourself forward, and if you can, you're going to hook your right elbow outside your right knee. And then just hold it here. Keep the sit bones rooted into the mat. And then just feel that stretch along the backs of your shoulder blades as well. So if you've got really tight hips or IT bands, you're really going to feel it here. And then just keep breathing. If you want to relax your neck, you can just drop your forehead into your arms. And then slowly bring yourself all the way back up. Release your arms. And this time you're just going to bring your left leg in line with the mat, and your right leg on top of your left leg. So you want to bring your right ankle on top of that left knee, and the right knee on top of that left foot. Now, if you're up here, you can place a cushion or block beneath your leg to provide support. If you find this really, really painful, then just bring your right foot in front of your left foot in a cross-leg position, and just work so that each foot is underneath the opposite knee. Okay. So choose the position that's right for you. And then we're going to bring our right arm by our ear, bend the elbow and draw the hand between your shoulder blades. Just lift your left arm and draw that hand around the back of that elbow, drawing that hand further down your shoulder blades. So you can stay there, or if you can, bring your left arm behind you and then maybe interlace your hands. So you can even say with the first option, the second option. Second option, you're just drawing that left shoulder back. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to start to draw your chest down towards your legs. Okay, but make sure both sit bones remain rooted on the mat. Make sure your feet are nice and flexed as well. And then slowly make your way back up. Release your left arm, release your right arm. Lovely. So we're going to slowly release that leg, and then we're going to bring our right leg, thread it underneath our left, bring that right heel outside our left hip, and then we're going to stack our left knee above our right knee. So remember, you have the option, if you have really sensitive knees, just to bring the foot onto the mat. Otherwise, you're stacking your knees one on top of the other, drawing your heels either side of your hips and making sure both sit bones are rooted to the mat. Bring the arms out nice and wide. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to thread your left arm underneath your right arm. So remember, first option to grab the backs of your shoulders, keeping your elbows nice and up. Or you can bring the backs of your arms together, or you can interlace your arms, bringing your palms together. If your arms are together, you're just going to lift your elbows and bring your forearms forward. Take an inhale. As you exhale, shoot your body forward, and then hook your elbows over your left knee. And just hold it there. Again, you have the option of just dropping your forehead onto your arms. This just relaxes your neck. Again, just notice that stretch along the back of your shoulder blades. Make sure both sit bones are rooted into the mat. And then just keep breathing. And then slowly bring yourself all the way back up. Release your arms. And then this time you're going to bring your right leg. So again, the shin is in line with the edge of your mat. And you're going to bring your left heel or ankle on top of that right knee, and your left knee is going to be on top of your right foot. Okay, if this is too much, or if you don't, you can have a prop underneath as support. If you don't have a prop, or you find this really painful, just drop your foot, your left foot, in front of your right leg, but just make sure the feet are as close to the opposite knee as it can be. Lovely. So choose the option that's right for you. And this time we're going to bring our left arm up, bicep by our ear, bend the elbow, hand between the shoulder blades, reach your right arm up and over, just place the hand behind the elbow and draw that hand further down your back. So you can stay here working on this position, or you bring your right arm behind you, interlace your hands, really draw that right shoulder back if you've got your arm behind you. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to slowly start to lower your chest over that front leg. Try to keep your feet flexed here as well, and just hold it there. Make sure both sit bones are rooted into the mat. Once you find that first point of resistance, you just hold and breathe. Try to keep that left bicep drawing in towards your ear. You might find one side is completely different to the other. And then slowly come back up. Release your arms, release your legs. Bring your feet into a cobbler position. So you're just bringing the soles of your feet to touch. Your heels can be close into your groin, or maybe you draw your heels slightly away. Just come to the position that's comfortable for you. Hands either over your toes or your ankles, and let your arms, your elbows just rest on the inner thighs. So you're just drawing those knees down towards the mat. You can stay here, or take an inhale, and as you exhale, slowly just bring your forehead down towards your toes, down towards your feet. So don't worry too much about rolling in now. Remember, the insides of your feet can open now as well, almost like a book. Just make sure the outside of the feet is still connected. And then slowly make your way back up. Start to bring yourself all the way down to your mat. And let's just start by drawing knees into the chest. So a gentle rock from side to side. And then we're going to slowly start to make our way to a happy baby pose. So a happy baby, you can grab the backs of your legs, the insides of your feet, big toes, or the outside of your feet. So choose the option that's available to you. You want to bring the soles of the feet parallel to the ceiling, knees drawing out to the sides of your torso, reaching down towards the mat. And then try to get the lower back to connect to the mat. So you want to get that coccyx back onto the mat. And then when you're here, you might just want to rock your happy baby. And then come to stillness. Keep drawing those knees out to the sides. Keep breathing. And then slowly draw the knees back into the chest. Have a gentle hug from side to side. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly lengthen your legs all the way down to the mat. Start to close your eyes here as we start to make our way into our final position, Shavasana. So as you make your way into Shavasana, maybe just take an opportunity here to scan your body and notice if there's any areas you're still holding on to tension. And maybe just take a couple of deep breaths down into that area. And then slowly allow everything to soften. The feet roll out to the sides. Soften the legs, the thighs, palms facing the ceiling, fingertips rolling in. Relax the forearms, the arms. Let the front body melt into the back body. Let the back body just melt into the mat. Soften the shoulders down into the mat. Let the chest remain nice and open. Release any tension at the back of your neck, your face and your jaw. Maybe just lick your lips here. Soften the area around your eyes and your cheeks and forehead. As we start to make our way into our final position, Shavasana.
And maybe just take an opportunity here, just one final time to scan your body and just notice, reflect back to how you felt at the start of the class and notice any changes that you've created for your class today. I invite you to stay in Shavasana for at least 5 to 10 minutes to really reap the benefits of today's practice. Namaste.